Hey guys, welcome back to PixelSkillGaming. This is the Stanley Parable. Now, a bit of a weird one with this one. Last week I made this video already, but for some reason the fucking capture thing didn't work, and I lost the entire first half of the video. So, I can't say that I haven't played it, because obviously I have. So, I'll try and find as many of the endings as I can, because the endings are fantastic. It's such a good game. I really could not recommend it enough, so we'll try and find as many as I possibly can. I also got a new stand for my microphone, which is great, because now I can get my audio a wee bit better rather than have some big fucking arm thing flying over the screen. So you'll find that this video will sort of cut in the middle, and you'll see the second part of it, because I'm going to keep that part anyway. But here we go, we'll start playing from basically from the beginning. If you haven't played this game, it's unbelievable. It's so hard to describe. It's like a real psychological sort of thriller. I don't know. It's really mundane because it's only about real life. A lot of it. A lot of it is about just an average guy working in an average job with an extremely boring life that he's not very happy with, by the seams of it. Considering there's so many endings to it, it shows you that all the ways that it could go for him, which is quite good. I think it's really interesting. I found two of the endings. I think they're the proper endings. The other ones are sort of spin-offs. I know that the ones that I found seem like the actual finish to the game. So you'll see that at the end of this video. I'll give you a bit more of an idea of what
This
I'm
is the
talking about,
story of a man named...
Oh shit, I totally skipped that. Right, okay, well, so anyway, the gist is that you're Stanley, and for some reason you have went into your office as normal, and basically your office, as soon as you've left your office door, all your co-workers are missing. So it's more or less trying to find out why that happened, and it kind of takes you on a bit of a journey with Stanley. So just pay attention to the narration, which is quite good, and we'll see where we can go from here. So
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I don't know about that, Stanley, but I think there's something a wee bit more to it. So the other interesting thing is, upon sort of going through this game already, I had a wee look online and looked at sort of... I didn't look up how to get the endings, because otherwise that would spoil the entire point of doing it again, but I looked up
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right, okay, so we'll follow the instructions for now. And yeah, I found some things online with some really weird images, ones that I hadn't seen even my first playthrough of it. So
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Maybe. Complete today's unfinished agenda. Right, next day's agenda. Reflect. So it's got a really nice sort of indie looking style to it, which is kind of cool. It's sort of really basic, but there's an awful lot to it.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, he didn't. Stanley went downstairs to his fucking death. Let's see.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt
I don't know
to
about
have
that.
finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
See what I mean?
And while he thought it all
See what this
very
game
odd
is?
and wondered if this voice spoke
Absolutely
to all
nuts.
people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
I don't even have the option of going backwards.
For certain, beyond a doubt,
You know,
that this
so I think
was in
just keep
fact a
going in
dream.
circles.
Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, this is exactly why this game has, like,
Stanley
fucked
began
me up
screaming.
majorly.
Please, someone, wake me up.
Oh,
My name is
fuck
Stanley.
me.
I have a
Fuck
boss.
Jesus.
I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh,
This is the
Yeah,
story
no,
of
like-
a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke
Right.
up on a day like any
so
other.
this has all changed
She arose,
again.
got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for
No
an
doubt that's
ambulance,
Stanley,
for
clearly.
just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was
And
only
she
a
just
moment
moved
that she
on with
stood
her
there,
life.
staring down at the
See what I
body.
mean? Somebody
And
dead
then
on the
she
floor,
turned and ran.
and because she had better things to do, like a meeting, just walked off and left Stanley on the curb. You see what I mean? But like that, Like, that's an ending. That's an ending to this game. Somewhere along the line. And then it brings you right back to where we were. And basically puts you in another scenario so that you can redo it again. So, admittedly, I've seen that ending before.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I need to try and find...
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Basically his way of going, stop doing that. I hate Mondays. I'm just trying every door, just in the off chance.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
I know, we're going right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Not really, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm just trying to figure out a different way.
Truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all. Just to spend a few, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, he didn't. He took this door.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop lying. Oh, that door didn't close behind me. Right, okay, so... You can't, like, jump or anything? Penalty for jumping off the cargo
Stanley,
lift.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who the hell is her? I wondered... Oh.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach
That
out
made me
to
jump
her.
a bit.
Is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the
Stanley's bird.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their
cruel
life
is that
to you?
shit?
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside.
I'm basically going, there's no way you can have a nice
really
loving wife.
Here.
Because your life's so shit and boring.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Hey, come here. Come here. Nah. Did I press it? Did I not press it? I think I'll press
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Can I, like, get out of here by any chance? No, clearly I can't really move anywhere.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands.
Yep.
It was wonderful.
Without a doubt.
And each day that he returned to work, was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
So fucking sad. Such
And
a
so he
sad...
began to fantasize about his own job.
Sake.
First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
It's a wee bit weird.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
So because his life is so boring, even simple decisions like walking through those 2 doors at the start of the game are meant to be something exciting to Stanley.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I
But
love
there is
you.
no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Okay.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
See, I'm not going to press N. Nobody wants to be at work in the morning. So, and that guy is telling me not to press it. The thing in this game that really confused me is I have no idea whether or not the guy who does the rating is my friend or like my worst enemy ever made ever. Could be
You
either.
see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley
Jesus
pushed
Christ.
a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
What? Did I press something? I must have pressed something. This game, man. Oh, see, this is what I mean. I didn't even press anything. Right, we'll try and find another one.
All of his co-workers were gone. What
Okay,
could
we
it
know this
mean?
part.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I haven't missed a memo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Can't remember which one goes where. There we go. I think. Maybe. Okay, this takes me to the meeting room
Yet
anyway.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
What?
There was nothing
I've
here.
never been here before.
No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. no reason to still be here.
Makes me wonder if this is something.
It was
Very well
baffling
could be
that
something.
Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
I wonder if I stand here for long enough, will he like freak out?
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Trying to find something to hit or do or click or...
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
I gotta have to take his word for it, I guess.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Yeah, so I'm not putting it in. Because that's the way the story should go. Stanley shouldn't know the PIN number.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Yeah, just keep repeating it there, trying to get me to put it in. The artwork in this is class.
2845.
It's really, really cool. Like his office isn't big enough, like.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Okay, down and left. I really genuinely have no idea which ending this is going toward. I think in total I've only seen like half of them, maybe not even half of them. I'd like to take a bit of time, maybe just do a compilation of all the endings at some point, but
Stanley
I'll need to
realized he
play a
felt
bit more
a
of
bit
it first.
peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
It's always good to walk into a room that's called Mind Control Facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed
Whoa.
with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh yes, he does.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
So cool.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's
number
control all this
427.
time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated
There's
to
my
accept
office.
it blindly?
Oh.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Apparently so.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I wonder if I press this enough, I'll do something. Oh, clearly not. For God's sake, Stanley. Get with the program, buddy. What is this? Okay, well, whatever it is disabled, so that's not happening. It's not really an awful lot for me to do. Oh shit, there's an order for them. Right, I see it now. Let's find these all. 1, 2. Where's 3? 4's up top, so 3 has to be down here somewhere. There's 3. 3. See if I'm pressing all these and it does nothing. I'm gonna be raging. 4. Is there a number 5? I don't remember seeing a number 5. Oh, there it is. I see it. Tell me. They out here? 6 and 7.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On or off, on or off, on or off. What did that do?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Oh shit,
Was
I
it
pressed the
over?
wrong button.
Yes, he had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Don't
Where
fall,
had
microphone.
his
Stop it.
co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
The game is so graphically nice, especially at that particular point. I've seen that ending before. I think that's one of the actual proper endings, not one of the ones that sort of reverts you right back to where you were again. I think that's how it's meant to end. Right, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try a different route.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Right.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, I'm going right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
To this game. There must be
Wow.
loads of
Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
What one did I go in last time? I went forward, yeah, so I'll go in this one.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Right, so we'll go this way then. We'll follow this bit. What the hell is that noise? Ah, that's closed. Never mind.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
What?
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Right.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He went down. Oh,
But
no.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
Oh, jeez,
and
I'm
in such
back.
a competitive economy, why had he taken
No.
that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Uh-oh.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence.
Right, no, we've already had that ending, so... Right, I'm gonna try a different
Stanley
route.
knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Yeah, I'll take
he
the
entered
one.
the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That's exactly what I want to do.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yeah, no, we're not going that way.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm
I wonder
not.
if I can make it over there.
I realize
Oh,
that
no, never gonna
investing
make
your
that.
trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you, or what? Really?
Yeah.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
I'll keep over, will
What?
you?
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful.
Okay, red or blue,
Let me
red or
prove
blue,
it.
red or blue.
Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No real difference between the two. I mean, actually looking in them, but let's trust them. Let's give them a
Thank
chance.
God you are willing to listen to me.
Yeah.
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
No.
The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here.
Oh,
running
no.
and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier
Look around the
if
other
we
window.
just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Jesus Christ, there's just so many decisions. Okay, that's darkness. And this is darkness. Go.
What do we want? What
What's
are
this?
we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's so
if we
bizarre.
just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Wow. This is amazing. What's down here though? This is such a good game, man. So good. I could not recommend this enough. It's so weird though. It's like, I haven't played a game where there's, you know, slight decisions make such a difference. I think I need to go down here.
No, wait. Where are you going?
I'm going away.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Oh, no, man. What if I go back out?
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Well, how long did I stay here for? Like, I've seen this. Is there anything below me or? Oh, I can't actually fall off the edge. Right, okay, so okay, everything's fading now. You know what? Fuck it, doesn't matter. I'm going through here. I don't care.
No.
Yes.
What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
I don't care. I've had enough.
You heard me before, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
I think you're lying.
Please, no,
completely
Stanley,
think you're
let me
lying.
stay here. Don't take this from me.
Right.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Was this game trying to get me to the point where I'll actually want to kill myself? Because this looks like the only thing I can do. I don't particularly want to kill myself, but Jesus, I'm gonna have to restart if this fucks up on me. Who cares? Go.
No! Oh,
I'm okay.
thank God.
I'm okay.
You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to... No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Okay, man. I'm gonna do it again.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
I've
My
no...
God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
I want to see if this will trigger something.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along.
Did you?
But I guess that was too much to ask.
I have no idea if you're my friend.
Looks like you wanted to make a choice after all.
If you hate me, I don't even
Well,
know.
this one is yours.
Yeah, it is. Let's do this. Huh.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Is this actually going to restart me now?
This is totally going to restart me. This game doesn't guide you in any way. It just guides you, but you've no idea if it's right or wrong or... Oh my god, no! Oh! Jesus! Oh!
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
What? Everyone is missing?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I know. Yes, we'll go this way.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's enter the key code this time. Oh, hold on. To be rich isn't a crime. To commit crimes isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to just pick one. Okay, so there's no purpose in coming in here. Apart from that wee quote on the wall. It's kind of cool, I guess. Right, what's in here? What the fuck? What a sinister picture. Business strategy. Wow. Nice. Okay, grass. Let's take the left. Let's go up. Can't beat a bit of elevator music. That's it. That's it. Is he talking in the background? What? I'm in the exact same place that I was. Oh. What if I go down? No, it's gonna be... No. No, that's gonna be a waste of time, isn't it? That's definitely gonna be a waste of time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
I am the most expensive
What could
boss.
it mean?
Sheesh.
Stanley wondered aloud
Lilies.
to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet.
That's what we
And
need
so
to know.
the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
So either way, that doesn't change anything. So whether or not you put that code in, or whether or not you wait and don't put the code in, either way, you're still going to get the same result. Potentially. I don't know whether or not this might change. It might actually change, you never know. Right, well, I'm down in the same place, so we're going to go for the escape route this time and not the mind
Stanley
control.
walked straight ahead through the large door
No, he
that
didn't.
read Mind Control Facility.
Bye.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it,
Uh-oh.
the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I'm pretty sure he's quite accurate when he says these things.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
So this is my chance to actually live.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Doesn't look great. Oh well. Am I dead? I'm totally dead, aren't I? Yeah, I'm dead. Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. What? What am I
As the
in?
machine
Oh,
went
I'm
into
in.
motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Oh, totally next.
Farewell, Stanley.
No, let me out. Let me out.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
What? So it's the voice in my head, Stanley?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Stanley was dead? Oh, holy shit, it's a model of... The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. The corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development. Though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Stanley's computer. So is this the end? This must be the actual, the proper end of the game, like the real end. Button sounds. Here's the credits of the people who obviously made the game. Maintenance room, the office. I'm pretty sure this is just like a wee... Is there anything where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens? The action game becomes sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realised shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game, plus some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which wasn't our intention. Oh, this is awesome. This is like all the story of the entire game from when it was first made to... What's this? After the second trailer we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these in future promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here's a selection of those emails. How's the game going? I hope it's good or better for the first one. From a cool man. Please, I'd like you to keep this proposal as a top secret and delete it if you're not interested. Get back to me if you're interested for details with regard to transfer. Lovely. Can you tell me what is the significance of the number 11128000? I appreciate the previous Stanley Games work of art and standalone title. I appreciate the credit given, which is why I'm eager to see a sequel, because art needs a good censoring. Are you gay? The Office, an early version of The Lounge, The Office, Cargo Lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game. We want it to look more like a place where cargo was stored. The Cargo Lift. The Cargo Lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping the different path. However, after this early version, we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Okay, so that's clearly what would have happened. So many rooms, man. So many rooms. Right, okay, so one doorway to maintenance in the lounge. How about this? Jeez, man, this is awesome. This is so good. Proper good. Sending levers. These levers were originally part of the sending. The player would pull a lever and read it would describe what colour lever they had pulled. Okay, so that was cut, clearly. Game is side pause, begin the game again. For a long time we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Fortunately, very few players realised this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everybody. Oh, that's that countdown room, yeah. What we're doing. Okay, so been here. Stanley's office. And exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program.
Why am I back
they
here?
both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do.
Oh, I should have quit or shouldn't I? Should have quit or shouldn't I?
Choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
So literally I just saved myself by going back to the very beginning. Alright guys, so this game is just absolutely brilliant. I can't really say much more about it. It's really well thought up. There's not a lot about this game that I can say that's bad. It's got that indie kind of feel to it with the very simple textures and things like that, but it's absolutely brilliant. I'm sure there are more endings than the ones that I just saw, but either way, the endings that I saw, I thought all of them were pretty good in one way or another, especially the part where I was about to die and then all of a sudden, nah, actually not that. Yeah guys, definitely pick this up. I can't recommend it enough. I think that's about it. I think I'm just going to do this as a one-off. I really enjoyed it. If there's anything else that I find out about it, any kind of update or anything about it, I'll definitely do a video on it. But other than that, thanks very much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys, bye.